Hello and yes, welcome back to another video, guys. Feels very strange knowing that this is going to be the last time I film a video like this for some time. Maybe not forever. We don't know. We'll see what the future brings. I just want to say a quick thank you to everyone who left such wonderful, nice comments over on my previous video with the updates coming to the channel in the new year. I'm really excited about it, and it sounds like a lot of you are as well. So that's good, isn't it? And also, even though I will have one more video out after this, which is already filmed. It's my Blu-ray collection video. This is the last video I'm filming in 2023, so I hope everyone has a great New Year's. And yeah, I hope everyone has had a wonderful 2023. It's not been my best year, as I said in my channel update video, but I'm always optimistic and looking forward to the new year. So I hope everyone else has a great year as well. Unfortunately, though, the last video we are filming is a bit of a downer because it is my worst films of 2023. So remember, guys, this is just my opinion. I'm sorry if you liked a film that I rag on here. I do apologise. This is just my opinion. Blah, 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 blah. Let's crack on. So, if you follow me on Letterboxd, you'll know that this isn't exactly my top 10 worst ones. And I'm going to really do what I done last year and just include films that had big budgets, went to cinema, films which were very popular, films which really just should have been a lot better than they were. Things like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. It's definitely the worst thing I watched in 2023, but I expected it to be awful. It has a terrible budget, and the idea of the film is awful. So, yeah, I'm not including this because is it even, like, it's so pathetic as it already is. Bird Box, they done a Bird Box spin-off. Did anyone care about this? No, I'm not even going to bother talking about it. And then there's things like Shotgun Wedding that come out. You know, this wasn't absolutely awful, to be honest, but it was really bad. But when you hear about this film, you go, well, yeah, it's going to be bad anyway. So anyway, films like that I'm not including. So, yeah. Well, I'm going to do 3 honourable mentions, though. These 3 films just missed out. And they were so nearly included in the top 10 worst of the year. And that is Fast X, of course. I'm not a fan of the Fast and Furious franchise, really. Mess of a film, obnoxious, annoying, and I don't like Vin Diesel. Cocaine Bear. You know, again, this one I wouldn't say is absolutely awful. There are a couple moments to it I like, but they just should have run with this concept more. And instead, they actually tried to give you good characters. Like, I haven't come to Cocaine Bear for good characters. And big surprise, the characters aren't good either. And Renfield. I was so looking forward to this movie. I thought Nicolas Cage as Dracula would be so cool. Unfortunately, he's barely in the movie. They go for a mafia-type movie instead. And the humour is awful. Okay, let's actually crack on with the top 10 now. Coming in 10th place is a film I was quite looking forward to because I really like the 2 leads in it, and I thought it could be like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of vibe movie. And in fact, it turned out to be the most generic, sloppy, unfunny movie you've seen in the last couple of years, and that is Ghosted. Chris Evans, Ana de Armas, these 2, yeah, I'm in. 2 of the most good-looking people in Hollywood right now. Yeah, this is going to be fun. No, the plot is all over the place. The characters are really boring, and none of the humour works. I was so bored during this movie, and I could not wait for it to end. It was predictable, and yeah, just a real bland movie. Coming in 9th place is, I think, it's not the worst film, obviously, because I put it 9th, but this is the film that annoyed me the most this year. And that movie is going to be The Flash. My God, this film sucked. I've actually seen some people trying their hardest to defend it. It is a mess of a movie. It is so terribly written. The dialogue is awful. The CGI it's some of the worst CGI I've seen all year. Like, no. It's some of the worst CGI I've seen ever. I'm going to rephrase that. It does nothing for the characters. It doesn't feel like a Flash film. It feels like a Batman movie, but they do all of the Batmans no justice in this. I'm so sorry to the Michael Keaton fans who were waiting so long for him to come back and for them to be shoved this garbage where his character is just thrown through the toilet. Supergirl feels pointless. Why they brought Zod back and made him so much worse than they did in the previous films. Even the actor had been criticised in this movie for not being as good as Man of Steel. It is an abysmal movie. I thought The Flash was truly but terrible. But coming in 8th, just before that, is another comic book movie. And to be honest, I think The Flash annoyed me more, but this film was just so bad. AntMan and the Wasp: Quantumania. This feels like such a filler episode of, like, Doctor Who. But, like, one of the worst Doctor Who episodes ever. It's like, yeah, we got to just sneak in a little tease of our villain here, who's going to turn out to be a real-life villain later on in the year, so we won't be able to use him again. The effects, I want to say the backdrops and stuff, the effects weren't completely garbage in this movie. In fact, they're better than the Flash's effects. I'll say that. There's no doubt in my mind. Like, the backdrops look great and stuff. I get that, you know, 90% of this movie was green screened. But some of the effects on the villains and stuff were, you know, MODOK looked terrible. It's just such a bland movie. Like, they didn't let Paul Rudd be Paul Rudd. The villain was so weak and pathetic. MODOK was the most idiotic, unbelievable character I've ever seen. Bill Murray, they didn't let Bill Murray be Bill Murray. You forget that half the other characters in this, it's so focused on Ant-Man and his daughter that you forget that you've got Michael Douglas and the Wasp in this movie. Like, why is it called Ant-Man and the Wasp? The Wasp is barely in this film. Yeah, this was a really, really poor movie as well. But coming in 7th place is one of the first films I saw this year, and that is Megan. Killer Robot Doll, love the concept of this, but unfortunately the film falls so hard, flat on its face. The two lead human characters are as thin as a piece of paper. Their relationship is just terrible. The fact that they reflect on the fact that this tragic thing happened in their lives, but neither of them seem to care. They both seem to brush it off, is kind of hilarious. It's like, this is not the way people react to things like this. The Megan doll, I like the design, but then it would start singing and saying cringy things. It wasn't scary at all. I think the conclusion was so embarrassingly bad. Like, it was so obvious what was going to happen. I think the thing with this movie is, when I watch it, I'm like, I'd just rather be watching Chucky, because Chucky done all of this in the 80s, but a lot better. So yeah, Megan gets the 7th spot. Coming in 6th place, I don't even know what to say about this one because it's so forgettable. And I was kind of looking forward to it. And that is Haunted Mansion. What a great cast this movie had. Rosario Dawson, Danny DeVito, Owen Wilson. That's enough right there for me. You know, those 3 actors I love. And I think Danny DeVito is absolutely hilarious. In everything, even when he's in a bad movie, he's hilarious. Not here. Not here. He's so boring and dry. Owen Wilson looked like he had nothing to do. Rosario Dawson, it was her summer. And, you know, Ahsoka was coming out and it was great. And then this happened. And it was just the most bland, forgettable thing ever. This movie went to Disney Plus in, what, a month? Which shows how bad it was. It had no creepy aspect to it. I know it's a kid's film. I don't expect it to be too scary. But it felt like such a generic Disney blockbuster that there was no themes to this movie. It all just felt so generic. And yeah, when it ended, I was so happy because it was just so boring and flat. And yeah, that's about all I've got to say on it, to be honest. Coming in 5th place is one of the last films I watched this year, and that is Zack Snyder's Rebel Moon. Zack Snyder has a couple films I like, but I really don't get this Zack Snyder hype train that some people have. I mean, his Justice League was pretty good, I will give it that, but, you know, his zombie film, Army of the Dead, was so bad a couple years ago. Now he's had another terrible one. What is it with these out-of-focus shots that he keeps using and the slow-mo scenes? The slow-mos, they're unbearable. His films, all of them, even his better ones, could all be trimmed down so much, because he just does constantly uses these slow-mo scenes, and it's so annoying. The characters are awful. Awful. And I know it was meant to be a Star Wars script that was rejected, but my god, it is literally a copy of A New Hope. Starts off with a bunch of farmers, and the main character is related to the big evil person in some way, or they have connections. They go to a cantina bar full of aliens and bounty hunters, and they find a kind of cocky guy, and they fly off in a ship. It's like, are you kidding me? I was watching this, it's like, this is A New Hope, but so much worse in every single way. It's so bad. I'm sick of these Snyder films. The man should just be producing films. He's not a great director. I do love the man. I like the man a lot, though. He seems nice. He seems like a nice guy. But I don't think he should be directing. He just does not work well there. Anyway, Coming in fourth place is going to be a film I was really looking forward to, actually. I saw the trailer to this and I was like, this looks cool. This looks really cool. 65. Adam Driver and Dinosaurs. I really wanted to like this movie. I thought this is going to be cool. There's him and this young girl and they're trapped on this planet with these dinosaurs. But yeah, it's not good. The problem is you've got the only character that Adam Driver can interact with. They then put a language barrier there. So instantly, when the dinosaurs aren't on screen, you're really pushing to try and connect with these characters, but it's really hard to connect with them because the dialogue is so limited. And then on top of that, the plot itself moves along at a snail's pace. The dinosaurs themselves aren't real dinosaurs. They look ridiculous. The whole film shot at night because they didn't want to pour money into the CGI to make the dinosaurs look better. I can't believe they didn't use real dinosaurs either. Like, not... Obviously, I mean, they didn't base the design off real dinosaurs. I mean, they've made these new creatures up. And it's like, why have you done that? And the title 65, it's so obvious that what they've done is gone back in time 65 million years. I said that before I walked into the movie. And it was like this big reveal at the end. And it was like, come on, guys. Come on. Do better. Do better. Coming in third place, okay, these bottom three are all truly terrible. Like, truly awful. Actually, I didn't see this one at the cinema, but I saw the bottom two at the cinema, and I couldn't wait for them to be over. But anyway, I still couldn't wait for this one to be over. The Meg 2. I struggle to talk about my top 10 worst of the year. I really do. I have so much more fun talking about my favourites because I can be passionate about them and be like, this was great, that was great. Well, what can I say about The Meg 2? Characters are awful. I hated the fact that when the Meg popped up or a giant octopus popped up, there was no tension. It was not like, oh my god, what is that? It was just like, everyone was like, yep, big shark, problem. The reactions were ridiculous. Jason Statham fully kicks the shark at one point. The octopus just comes out and it just like, why was it even there? Why was it even there? I just couldn't believe the direction the story went in. My care factor was just at an all-time low. I was watching it. I was like, I just really can't be arsed with this movie. I can't. The Meg 2 was awful in every single way. It's a terrible film. Yep. Coming in second place, God, struggling to get through these ones here, folks. Five Nights at Freddys. Wow, what a piss poor movie. Not scary at all. The characters are garbage. The acting is unbelievable, like unbelievably bad. There's some scenes in this where it's like characters are just like revealing things like it's no big deal when it's like, I don't get who's written this movie. The exposition is just awful and the actors are not pulling it off well at all. I didn't get what was happening. It's hard. I thought they would just kill robots and we're going into dreams, revisiting the same dream every night. The villain at the end was hilarious. This film sucked. It was so bad. Yeah, it just got everything wrong, to be honest. Everything wrong. They're probably going to make a sequel because I think it's actually made money. I don't know how. I don't know how anyone could possibly like this garbage, but here we are. Terrible film. Coming in at number one, though, my least favourite film of the year. I couldn't believe it when I saw this movie in the cinema. Expendables 4 is a contender for to make my top 10 worst movies ever, to be honest with you. It is undeniably a bad film. It has two locations. The opening one, where Jason Statham and Stallone are active. They go to this bar, and then they go to this big cruise, like, container ship, where the entire second and third act is set. There are 3 locations. And along with that, you have characters who feel very disjointed. You have characters which supposedly die, and it's so obvious that they didn't die and that they will be back at the end of the film. Along with some of the worst CGI I've seen all year that may even... If it wasn't so little, I would say it is the worst CGI of the year, but the Flash's CGI problems ranged from the start to the end of the movie. But there are some cutscenes in this that do just look like they're from a PlayStation 2 or 3 game. They're unbelievably bad. I have seen games on the PS5 look a bajillion times better. The Expendables 4 is truly awful. Anyway, there we go, guys. My top 10 worst films of the year. I'd say, I'm sure some people out there might like some of those films, so please take this video with a pinch of salt. And sorry if it seemed like I was losing the will there. It's because I was. I don't like talking about these films. I like talking about films I like. And, yeah, they were some real stinkers this year. But anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed as always. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like the video, leave a message. And as always, I will see you next time for another video. Bye-bye.